Excitement is in the air on the Ole Miss campus as the Rebels are still celebrating Saturday's historic win over Alabama.
But just how much does this win mean for athletes and fans alike? That's tonight. Keep it local, keep it here. You're watching NewsWatch 99. The goalposts may have stayed intact at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but Rebel fans were just as excited as they were 1 year ago.
It was a historic win for Ole Miss as they not only beat the Tide in Tuscaloosa for the first time since 1988, but this is also the first time Ole Miss has won back-to-back games against Alabama in the history of this heated rivalry.
Browning Stubbs joins us here in the studio for a quick recap of Saturday's exciting matchup. Browning?
Thanks, guys. Coming into this game, Alabama head coach Nick Saban was 9-1 in revenge games. Also, the Crimson Tide were favored by a touchdown, but none of that mattered to Ole Miss as they took care of business. Let's take a look at the highlights. Here we go. Jordan Wilkins, second quarter, takes it to the outside, gets the first touchdown of the game for the Rebels. Rebels up 10-3, and Ole Miss, they would have good special teams as Alabama fumbled again. That's their second fumble of the game. Ole Miss recovered as this would set up a Chad Kelly rushing touchdown to the outside, flies over two defenders and puts Ole Miss up by 14. Chad Kelly was the story of the game, I kid you not. Let's see what he does on this next play. Chad Kelly, high snap, looks in the air, throws it. Why did he do that? Out of nowhere, the ball is tipped off a helmet and caught by Quincy Adebojo. Adebojo with that quick speed to the 10-5 touchdown, Ole Miss. And boy, was that a play that would change the game. Nick Saban not happy, as you see. Kelly threw it up. It was deflected off a helmet, caught by Adebojo, and he's off to the races. Chad Kelly again makes a big throw. This one to Cody Core for 73 yards down the sideline. Cody Core 15-10-5 touchdown Ole Miss, but this play had a little bit of controversy. And here's why. As you will see, Chad Kelly for Ole Miss scrambles out to his right. He's behind the line of scrimmage, and that play would be reviewed by the officials, and it stands as a touchdown. Ole Miss took a 12-point lead. Meanwhile, Alabama storming back. Jake Coker, touchdown to Richard Mullaney from 2 yards out. Alabama one last chance on their final drive. Coker scrambles out to his left, trying to find someone. Pass is incomplete, and that would do it. Final score, 43-37. Ole Miss beats Alabama. They're 3-0 on the season. And every touchdown was valuable in the win over Bama, but one play stands out amongst the others as it will stick with Ole Miss fans for a very, very long time. Here's another look at the 66-yard touchdown from Chad Kelly to Quincy Adebojo.
The first down. High snap. Kelly has to collect it. Makes a desperation heave into traffic. Treadwell off his hands and into the hands of Adebojo. A crazy carom and a touchdown for the Rebels.
Call it the tip six. That's what many Ole Miss fans are calling the miraculous touchdown catch by Quincy Adebojo in the Ole Miss upset over Alabama. Chad Kelly bobbled a high snap, staring high in the air before grabbing the ball and throwing it up for dear life just before he was taken to the ground by two Alabama defenders. Fortunately for Ole Miss, they caught a break on that play.
I didn't catch the snap right away, and I just figured Kwan's 6'3", he can jump the highest out of anybody, so I just gave him a chance, and the Lord is great.
I seen Chad fumble the snap a little bit, and I had a feeling he was just going to throw it up, and I was just running up under the ball. I thought the other guys misjudged it, so I thought from the start it was going over their head, and I'm about to run up under it. But once they got to it, they tipped it in the air. I seen the ball, I grabbed it, and everything was from there. I just had to go score.
God, that's all I can say. But great play, great awareness by him, and he finished the play.
That one pass, that one catch, that one touchdown might have just been enough to put Ole Miss in contention for the national championship. and Ole Miss players believe they are just getting started after the win over Alabama.
I feel like we were just better. I feel like they're a great football team. They're really good, and they're going to win a lot of games this year. I just feel like we've just came from a place where now we can win these games, and we can expect to win. You know, we didn't just come here saying, let's pick a fight like we usually do. We came here saying, let's handle business and go home.
Man, it was big time. We put the work in all week. We knew we was capable of doing it, and it's a blessing that we actually came out here and we got it done.
You know, we knocked down one of the top dogs in the SEC. I mean, our schedule's still really tough. We got to keep rolling. We're all excited, but this definitely showed what we're capable of doing.
There's just that feeling that all of us have that it's going to be a special season, and we just have to make sure we're on top of our game each game, and everything will work out.
I'll have more Ole Miss football coverage and break down what's next for the Rebels following the Alabama win later in our broadcast for Rebel Watch. Back to you, Kelly.
Thanks, Browning. This win means big things for the Rebels. Ole Miss jumped from 15th to 3rd place in the AP Top 25 College Football Poll, behind only Ohio State and Michigan State. Meanwhile, Alabama dropped to 12th, the first time the Crimson Tide has fallen out of the top 10 since 2010.
Now, a lot of fans are crediting first-year quarterback Chad Kelly with the big win over the Crimson Tide this weekend. Now, everybody knows starting quarterback Chad Kelly is the nephew of NFL Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. But what else do you know about Chad Kelly? Waverly McCarthy has this profile of Kelly, much of it in his very own words.
Chad Kelly's journey began in Buffalo, New York as a 4-star high school prospect. He committed to Clemson University during his junior year, and it was at Clemson where he ran into trouble. After an argument with head coach Dabo Swinney, he was dismissed from the team for detrimental conduct. Here he found his way to East Mississippi Community College, where he led the team to a national championship. He later signed with Ole Miss, but ran into more trouble along the way after getting into a fight with a bouncer outside of a Buffalo nightclub. But that was then, and this is now.
I think the first thing that stood out was how much of a coach and person Coach Freeze was. And I just thought that he was perfect for me, and his values that he had in life and in football were exactly what I needed to better myself on and off the field. I think just off the field, I've just grown so much since being here, just that I have a father figure, just always constantly reminding me Christ is with you through everything, no matter what's going on. And as long as you have him in your life, there's nothing else that can overtake that.
A spring break trip to Haiti with Ole Miss FCA was the turning point in Kelly's personal growth.
I think going to Haiti and going house to house was just kind of unique. And just hearing those people, how thankful they are, and with such little stuff that they have, through your platform that God has given you, you can help others grow through Christ and understand different things. And I think that's really what was life-changing.
1 year ago, Kelly sat in a Mexican restaurant and watched on TV as Ole Miss beat Alabama. This year, he was on the front lines and led the team to their first back-to-back victory over the Tide.
To now be out there on a Saturday doing that and beating that team you were watching, it was just like, it was destiny. You seen it happen. You were watching that game and thinking, man, I wonder if I'll be playing for one of these two teams. And next thing you know, you're playing for Ole Miss, and we get that win against them, which is just amazing.
For NewsWatch, Waverly McCarthy.
Now, what's next for Chad Kelly? We'll have more coming up tonight later on Rebel Watch.
Peyton, these wins are not just big for the team or for the school, but for the whole city of Oxford.
Well, that's right. When we come back, we'll see the effect of the victory in Tuscaloosa on students and residents alike.
Local Oxford businesses often say, when the Rebels do well, so do they. Today, I talked to some local retailers to learn more about exactly what they're doing to capitalize on this weekend's big win. United in pride, color, and classy apparel, Ole Miss fans took Tuscaloosa this past weekend and walked away with a big victory. Popular Oxford apparel stores are excited for what this means for their bottom lines.
not only my business, but every business in Oxford goes by the success of the football team. It's a big part of Oxford and Ole Miss. And the better they do, the better we do.
It's kind of a perfect storm for business. We have, a lot of people come in. This square, I think everybody benefited from that greatly.
Rebel Athletics' success is always beneficial to local businesses, and some are even capitalizing with specialized products like this one. Rebel Rags is the largest buyer of Ole Miss gear in the nation. They say they've generated nearly $15,000 in revenue in only 2 days from the sale of these commemorative shirts, which feature the phrase, "Back-to-back Shark Attack." The shirt is being sold at the Oxford storefront as well as online.
We ordered them on Thursday. We decided, we put them on the website that night after the game, and because of the way it ended, it was the very end of the game, we turned it on, sent out emails immediately, and was available within 20 minutes after the game.
I came to Rebel Rags to buy the Beat Bama shirt because everyone here is really excited about it. It's making history for Ole Miss, and I'm really excited, so I have to get a shirt.
With this meaningful success under the Rebels' belt, vendors anticipate increased crowds for the upcoming home game against Vanderbilt.
I think there'll be a big immediate impact and a boost of sales. So, we'll have to be a lot more prepared for this than we were for the 2 previous games. So we'll definitely take care of that in the early stages of the week, because the crowd will start coming Thursday afternoon, Friday, and then obviously it's Saturday they'll be here. So we'll be ready for that.
Business owners hope this weekend's major success is just the start for the season ahead. Rebel Rags said they've already sold more than 800 of the back-to-back shirts, selling out in the gray color, but they will be receiving a shipment of the coveted powder blue sometime tomorrow. And of course, nobody felt the impact of this game quite like the Ole Miss student body. Today, Daniela Oropeza spoke to several students about the emotional roller coaster that was this weekend.
Following last year's win over Alabama, the Rebels made school history with their first back-to-back win against the Tide. However, senior John Dew did not have all good thoughts throughout the game.
When we went up, was it 17 or something, I was really excited. I was hoping that it would stay that way, but once Alabama came back and got within 6, I think everyone there got a bit nervous.
Katie Morgan, a sophomore transfer from Alabama, has had mixed feelings about the rivalry.
I was in the stadium both years, so last year I was very upset. But this year, when we won, I was very nervous in the last 10 minutes because, we were only down 6 points, and if they scored another touchdown, we would have lost. So I stayed until the very end, and when we actually won, it was so exciting.
Although the Rebels are undefeated, Dew does not think the Rebs play to the best of their abilities.
When Alabama has 5 turnovers and we still only win by 6 points, that says a lot about how we played, and I think we were lucky to get out of there with a win and on to Vanderbilt.
Ole Miss will face the Vanderbilt Commodores this Saturday at Vaught Hemingway. NewsWatch, Daniela Oropeza.
Of course, a lot of this weekend's excitement took place on social media. Stephen Gagliano tells us how Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram were flooded with posts of plays, smack talk, and rivalry-filled hate between the 2 fan bases.
Emotions ran high as the Rebels defeated Alabama Saturday night in Tuscaloosa, and social media was buzzing throughout the entire game. One of the most popular videos posted during the game was this video titled "Sad Bama Fans," posted by Deadspin, showing Alabama fans in shock at different moments throughout the game, as well as many fans leaving with just over 10 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. This video of Denzel Kimdichi's hit on Alabama quarterback Cooper Bateman has been replayed over 380,000 times and has been shared all over Twitter, Facebook, and Vine. The Ole Miss victory had some Alabama fans ready to have their 3-time national champion head coach Nick Saban fired and his statue on the Alabama campus torn down. Alabama wide receiver Parker Barreneau took to Twitter after the loss to trash talk Ole Miss by saying despite the win they will be left out of the college football playoff and that Alabama will make it in. This tweet has since been deleted and Barreneau has apologized. Leanne Toohey of Blindside fame took a shot at ESPN analyst Kirk Herbstreit for not giving Ole Miss enough credit in the victory, to which Herbstreit responded by tweeting that Toohey was embarrassing herself and then proceeding to call out the Ole Miss, quote, lunatic fringe fans. Celebration among the Ole Miss community was highlighted by Coach Hugh Freeze's locker room dance, with many players tweeting back-to-back along with it, as this was the first time Ole Miss has beaten Alabama 2 years in a row in program history. The Oxford Police Department trolled the infamous Harvey Updike, who poisoned Toomer's corner at Auburn, with this tweet putting Oxford citizens on the lookout for the convicted tree poisoner, to which Updike responded, "How dare you, idiot, I'm not coming." Social media played a big role in the viewing experience for many students, and they're still talking about their favorite posts from Saturday's action.
Definitely my favorite post during the game was the wrecking ball vine of Kimdichie hitting that guy, and he kind of just stood there, so that was definitely like the funniest one that I saw.
I was on my way to the square to watch the game. Like, I was watching it on Twitter to like refreshing it to see what I had missed, and we actually recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff, so thanks to Twitter I was able to see it.
Well, my favorite post was the post where they had Meek Mill and then they had Drake, but they had Meek Mill as Bama and they had Ole Miss as Drake. So basically they have like a little beef going on, and it was just funny that they had those two together for the game.
NewsWatch, Stephen Gagliano.
Rebel fans got some nice weather today as they celebrated their big win this weekend.
Well, that's right, and when we return, Madison Heil will let us know just how much longer the great weather will stick around. Your full forecast when NewsWatch returns.
Welcome back. I'm Madison Heil here with Storm Watch. Currently, right now, we are at 81 degrees with clear skies. The winds are coming from the northwest at around 9 miles per hour, and there is 0% chance of rain. Now, if you look at our satellite image, skies in our area are very clear and look to stay that way for the next few days. And the current temperatures in the area, 80 degrees in Tupelo, 79 degrees up in Corinth, 82 in Holly Springs, and a little warmer up in South Haven at 86 degrees. And for tomorrow, temperatures rise slightly, a high of 84 degrees here in Oxford, 86 degrees in Tupelo, and temperatures staying in the mid to upper 80s to our north. And looking at our forecast for tonight, the low will be 54 degrees, again some clear skies with light winds and no chance of rain. And for tomorrow, another warm day here in Oxford. 84 degrees is your high with clear and sunny skies, some light winds, and still no rain in the forecast. Now looking at our 5-day forecast, it will be a fairly warm week here in Oxford. 84 tomorrow as well as on Wednesday. Temperatures getting all the way up to 86 degrees on Thursday and into Friday as we start our weekend. Nothing but sunshine here in Oxford. And as we get further into the weekend on Saturday, temperatures decrease slightly, 80 degrees on Saturday with a 20% chance of rain.
Yeah, Madison, I know I really enjoyed those cooler temperatures today. And it looks like maybe we might get some even cooler temperatures throughout the week.
I sure hope so.
All right, well, thanks, Madison. Coming up, we'll be joined later by Suda Upadhyaya, who attended today's athletics press conference. Stick around, NewsWatch. We'll be right back.
On 3 seconds, 2 seconds, there's the snap. Bo looking to throw, throws the end zone, Walton, he's got it! Forget the field goal, the Rebels have a touchdown!
Welcome to Rebel Watch. Browning Stubbs back with you. Earlier in the show, we showed you the big win in Tuscaloosa. Perhaps the biggest performance was junior transfer Chad Kelly, who is moving up in the Heisman rankings. Kelly threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. This is in addition to some big performances earlier in the season. Kelly now has to be considered for some Heisman talk as he has over 800 yards passing and 9 touchdowns in the air as well as 3 on the ground. Taking a look, Kelly had similar stats against Bama as he did in the first 2 games of the season against UT Martin and Fresno State. Kelly has big play potential and will be a player to watch for the entire season. On the other side of the ball, Robert Kimdichie had a huge game, and he earned SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Kimdichie had a total of 10 tackles, including 1.5 for a loss and half a sack. Kimdichie was disruptive all night on a Lanchart defense that forced 3 interceptions. Ole Miss has now won twice in Tuscaloosa. The first time happened back in 1988 when this man, Billy Brewer, was the man that led Ole Miss to a 22-12 victory. Rebel Watch got the chance to speak with Brewer about his thoughts regarding the game on Saturday.
Terrific performance. I mean, it was absolutely
outstanding. I mean, it's on both sides of the ball. Ole Miss was totally mentally, physically ready to play. They were quicker, stronger, faster than Alabama. They were just the best team on the field. I was really proud of Ole Miss. I felt good about them. I just had a good feeling about them. I'm proud of them, and I think we got great things to come.
I'm now joined by Rebel Watch reporter Sudu Upadhyaya. Sudu, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, Browning, especially after the big win over Alabama.
Now, Hugh Freeze had his weekly press conference today. Sudu, you attended. What did you take out of it?
Well, Hugh Freeze is focused on, Vanderbilt. That's the key right now is Vanderbilt. They definitely are celebrating the win over Alabama. I think the general sentiment is, still high in the locker room, but everybody wants to focus on Vanderbilt, and that's what they talked about today.
Historic road win over Alabama, Ole Miss will now focus on the Vanderbilt Commodores.
We play a very dangerous team this week, in my opinion. Derek is his team is playing extremely hard for him defensively. I think they're really good.
The Commodores' defense is only giving up an average of 17 points per game and limiting opponents to an average of 270 yards, something that Freeze says is a product of Vandy head coach Derek Mason's scheme.
He takes pride in his defense, and you can tell they play extremely hard and have a really good scheme.
Although Freeze is concerned about Vandy's defense, the Commodores are a weaker opponent than Alabama. Ole Miss linebacker Christian Russell says that won't affect the Rebels' mindset heading into Saturday's game.
We're going in with the same, determination and motivation. It's not about the opponent, it's about us. We handle our business and take care of what we have to take care of, and we'll be fine.
Another concern for the Rebels is injuries. Ole Miss will play without defensive back Tony Connor, who's expected to miss a minimum of 4 weeks with a meniscus tear. Other key players are also hurt.
Justin Bell is questionable this week. Bridges is questionable this week. Conyers is questionable this week, and got to get Rod Taylor back in the flow of things.
The Rebels will kick off against the Commodores at 6 p.m. on Saturday at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium.
Sudu, the offensive line had a lot of guys play against Alabama. How do you see that shaking up?
Laramie Tunzel was out, and you had a lot of injuries as well in this game. And, a lot of freshmen stepped up. Jordan Sims, Sean Rawlings was in there. Javon Patterson was in there. It makes you feel good knowing that you had that many young players starting and you still beat Alabama. So I think the sky's the limit for that group right now.
Looking ahead to Vanderbilt, Sudu, Ole Miss, they, could have had some better plays in the game against Alabama, but what improvements do you see the Rebels making?
Well, I think they definitely need to work on getting off the field on third downs. That is a defense. And I also think they need to work on stopping the run. Derrick Henry, Ole Miss did a pretty good job with, but not as good as they did last season. So definitely stopping big running backs. And, of course, Chad Kelly cannot make bad throws, errant throws. The one to Quincy Adeboye was fun. It's going to go down as one of the best plays in college football this season. But you can't have throws like that throughout the season because that may end up costing the Rebels a win.
All right, Sudu, I want to thank you for joining Rebel Watch. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, that's our show for tonight. To stay updated, you can follow us on Twitter at NewsWatch_99.
And for sports on the go, be sure to follow us at Rebel_Watch. That's our show for tonight. Good night.